Forgive me for not speaking in Odia, one of the classical language of India. The topic that has been given to me today is a contemporary situation and the constitution. Why is that? The opposition party in India, all the opposition parties, have taken the issue that we must go to the people and explain the constitution. This constitution was drafted 73 years ago, and we are still discussing the pros and cons of the constitution. A month ago, or at least 2-3 weeks before, in Patna, all the opposition parties, 15 parties, got together and came to an understanding that the greatest enemy of today is the BJP party ruling at the center, backed by its own ideological wing, RSS, and therefore it is our solemn duty to approve this BJP rule. Of course, your state government is having a Janus face, double standard. They try to be there and not try to be outside as a non-BJP party. But nevertheless, when this meeting took place, the comment that came from the BJP quarters was, it was a great photo shoot, meaning they had a lot of photographs. Somebody even said that Rahul Gandhi could get married. This was Swayamvaram for Rajiv Gandhi. I don't know why they should talk about this instead of seriously taking the issue that has been posed by the opposition party. I am glad at least 8 parties in this state has come together in the form of a Janashastra Manch to fight against the BJP. It is not our one-point rule. Fighting against BJP means several things. Fighting for secularism, fighting for democracy, fighting for federal government in this country, fighting for the poor people of the country, fighting liberalization, privatization, globalization, fighting all and anti-party, anti-people policies. And therefore, in the last 72 years, more than before, today the constitution become an index, the constitution become a watchword, constitution become a torch for us to move forward. It is in that sense we are now analyzing the current situation. What is the current situation? 2 weeks before, our Prime Minister Modi went to America, met Biden, had a dialogue with him, lot of photo shoots. But how much amount of protest that he faced in America is not published in many of the papers. Whether he faces protests or whether he gets bouquets in America, that's not the issue. When he came back after a 6 days rule, we all thought he's going to tell us more about his foreign trip, his talk with America, all that he's going to say. On the other hand, our Prime Minister declared that we cannot be ruled by 2 laws. We want to bring uniform civil code. Out of nowhere, suddenly he said like this. People are wondering why he suddenly talks about UCC. UCC is the Uniform Civil Code. And he said we can't be ruled by 2 different laws. And therefore we should have a UCC. Then his own bandwagon, his own prachara sanchara, they started saying more about it. They said that the Uniform Civil Code has been in the Constitution under Article 44, and therefore it is our constitutional duty to bring Uniform Civil Code. They also said, more than that the Supreme Court has said that we should have a Uniform Civil Code. It is the 2 justifications that has come from them. I start with my talk only on this issue, and we will address more to further issue. What is Uniform Civil Code? Whether Supreme Court has ever said like that? Of course, Supreme Court said in 2 times. There are also other Supreme Court judgments which said that it is not our duty to bring Uniform Civil Code. It is for the Parliament to consider. We are not going to issue any such order. And this is a country of a plurality. It is a country of a multi-facet. It is a country of a poly nature. And therefore, we are not going to suggest all these things. This is what the Supreme Court said. But then they want to quote what is suitable to them. 1 or 2 judges said like that. We are not on the question. It is not as if this government obeys always the Supreme Court orders. They have their own ideas. And we will come to the next point, that are there two laws in this country? That it is difficult for you to govern this country without a uniform civil code. And what exactly the meaning of the uniform civil code is another issue we have to think. First is that are there any uniform civil code in this country? And Article 44 talks about that the government will strive to bring a uniform civil code. This is Article 44. Before Article 44, there are at least 5 articles before that in the Part 4 of the Constitution. You all know that the Part 4 of the Constitution is not directly enforceable. It doesn't prevent the Parliament making a law, and it shall be the directive principles of the state policy. Now, under Article 39, which is very important, it very clearly says that the concentration of wealth in this country cannot be left to the few individuals. It has to reach the common people of this country. Now you know, Ambanis and Adanis, they have all the wealth under this country. We had monopoly houses for the last 70 years, several different monopoly houses. Earlier there was one set of monopoly houses, we have another set of monopoly houses. Everything is done, every policy, every economic policy is framed only because of 2 families in this country. And the 2 families thrive at the cost of the people. Why never it occurred to BJP and the Modi government that the Constitution talks about decentralization or the distribution of wealth and the wealth not being concentrated in the hands of few individuals? That there at 39. There are several other articles. There is a living wage. India promises to all these working people of this country living wage. Not only a living wage. What about disablement? What about post-retirement? What about old age? Everything there is a guarantee in the Constitution. In fact, this is one part of the Constitution which is rigged with socialist concept. Dr. Ambedkar, while speaking in the Constituent Assembly, he felt there were no communists, there were no socialists in the Assembly. He knew that. He worked with them before. He said, I know I don't find socialists in this country, I don't find communists in this house. He gave an explanation that the communists believe in overthrow of the state by violent means, that the socialists want all enterprise to be nationalized in this country. Therefore, they are not here, which is very correct or not. He had his own mind. In the Part 4, nowhere you will find in any part of the world such a constitution. The Part 4 completely talks about a socialist agenda. He also later said it was my contribution that it should have, whether India is really like this or not, I will see to it certain principles are enshrined in this constitution. Even though on 26 November 1949, when he was introducing the final draft of the Constitution, he told the House, and giving, after 2.5 years of labor, after several discussions and amendments, we are now giving our final draft. It is for you to accept or reject this. I am aware that this country has got a political freedom, but we are yet to get social and economic freedom in this country. The sooner that we get these freedoms, India will stand together. Otherwise, it will grow into pieces. It is for you to work this constitution or to defeat the constitution. This is what he has said, and he knew very well that there is no economic independence at that time. He also knew there was no social equality at that time. He was very conscious of that. He is also conscious there were no communists and socialists in the house. But he has made it equalized by bringing a Part 4 into the Constitution. If you read Article 39, it is the greatest agenda of the Constitution. You take Article 15, it provides for a non-discrimination. It says that the state shall not discriminate on the basis of religion, on the basis of caste, on the basis of gender, on the basis of area, on the basis of language, on the basis of descendant. In fact, after 20 centuries in this country, for the first time, the Constituent Assembly told the people of this country, we will not discriminate on these grounds. There was a film in Hindi titled as Article 15. The director was asked, there are 395 articles in the Constitution. How is that you said Article 15? He said that is the heart of the Indian Constitution. We were ruled by many rulers. We are ruled by feudal families in this country. We were ruled by the colonial masters. And there have been umpteen number of discrimination in this country. There was no education, there was no social upliftment, there was no social equality. And for the first time, the Constitution declared that we will not discriminate on any one of these grounds. That's the greatest contribution that we have. And therefore, when there is a danger to this, it is bounden duty for us to defend such things. I remember when IPL match was played in London between Australia and England, and the match was ended up in a draw. Every youth, every youngster who were watching the film, wasting the midnight oil, they were saying, what kind of a draw? There should be, somebody must win and somebody must lose. That's how we have been told. Every film you see, there will be a victor and there will be a vanquished. There can never be a smooth ending. It has to be somebody has to go. That is what we have been taught. Therefore, the question came, is it proper for the match to end in a draw? You know, every sport governed by a set of rules. There is not a single sport which does not have a rule. And the rule did not have an answer for that question. Later, all the experts met and then decided to give extra overs. After 6 extra overs, England won the match. Nothing wrong, let them win the match. There can be other matches will come forward. But what is most important was, that night, after the match was over, almost every youngster went into the website, started Googling and find out whether it's proper to have changed the rule after the match began. The question was, you are having a set of rules. You are playing under the rules. And then now after the match is over, you are changing the rule. Can the rules of game can be changed? That was the question. And then everybody is asking the question, is it changed? Or not England playing a foul game, changing the rule in the later? Now if the youngsters of this country, if the youth of this country are so concerned about change of rules, are you not concerned about the greatest rule of game, the Constitution of India, under which we are governed? And you start changing the Constitution. You start talking about making a new Constitution in this country. Are we not worried about that? I am asking every student, whether not law student or any other student for that matter, if you can think and worry about a game outside they are playing, what about the game that we are playing? Is not the Constitution the greatest document under which we are now governed? Can you allow this Constitution to change under any circumstances? This is the issue today. And therefore, when they talk about uniform civil code, I am asking a question to myself. What is this uniform? Is it a common civil code or a uniform civil code? There is a distinction. When the British came here, they found there was no law of criminal law. And they brought Macaulay to make Indian penal code. And then when they came to civil law, there are so many civil authorities, there were so many civil precedents, there were so many area-wise differences were there. How to codify all this? Then the Henry man was asked to make a civil code. He could not make it. He just took advice from some people, and then finally, as usual, the British made, wherever there is a custom, the custom will provide. This is a very compromise they made, and today, can you ask yourself, is there any common Hindu civil code in this country? You go to uniform civil code later. Is there a common Hindu law in this country? Or not, there is an area-wise distinction. You know, there is a place in Karnataka, the Lingayat. They can have a customary divorce. You know, you go to Kutch area. They can have adoption even among Muslims. There are different areas having different practices, and the British could not make a single common code. They allowed it to go religion-wise. The Hindus have their own, the Muslims have their own, and the Christians have their own laws. That is there. But even among the Hindu laws, there is no uniformity. It is the first time in 1951 when the Congress party decided to have a Hindu code. And Dr. Ambedkar was assigned the duty of preparing a Hindu code. Laboriously, a Hindu code was prepared in 1955, passed by the parliament. The President of India refused to give assent. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who comes from Bihar, and the UP lobby did not want even a single comma full stop to be changed in the Hindu law. That's the position even today. I am asking one question. Will all the Hindu leaders today agree to have a common Hindu civil code? Then we can go to other code we can talk about. Now you are introducing a new uniform civil code debate, not because you are very much interested in that. You think that could be a weapon to deal with the minorities in this country. You are not speaking